Welcome to the 2020 PTSD Awareness online seminar. Yay! I am so excited. My name is Tracy, and I will be your host with Multiform PTSD. So glad you're here. We're going to be focusing on non-military PTSD. I'm not doing this alone. I am so blessed to be able to have my tribe with me to support me here. And I've got guests here that are going to blow your mind. Blow your mind. While you're in this conference, I want to ask you to do 4 things. The first one, I want you to commit to having an open mind. I love all the information out there about PTSD, but my goal is to give you something that maybe isn't always quid pro quo or in the textbooks. I like to go my real, authentic, raw, personal experiences, what I've learned from my own traumas, or helping others with theirs. Keep an open mind. There may be some different ways of thinking about your PTSD, and they're good, because I really feel like I've got some great thoughts for you. Number 2, I want to make sure you have a pen and paper ready to go so you can write notes. Some of this is going to just be fun conversation that you're going to laugh, you're going to enjoy, you're going to be able to just soak it all in. But you're going to also have some of those aha moments where something's going to hit you to the core. And that is a good thing, because that means that it's speaking to you. If you're anything like me and you go to an event or you go to a meeting and you learn something new and you're like, oh, this is the best. I'm never going to forget what I just learned because it is amazing, right? Who's been there? I've been there. And then you go home. Poof, gone. Gone. Those things that you were sure you were going to remember, you remember no more. So when you find those aha moments, those takeaways that you know were meant just for you, I want you to have pen and paper ready to write it down. Third thing I want you to do, you go and follow Multiform PTSD on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You're in the right place. Whether you have PTSD or you love someone who does, we're here to help you. Number 4, if you thought, as I was talking about someone who you know just in your heart of hearts could use this information, please feel free to tag them, to share this with them any way you possibly can. I want this to just explode. This is free. This doesn't cost anything but your time. And when you work with me, you need to have some commitment and some inner work done yourself. I like to dig deep. I like to find the problem, pull it out, and fill it with the truth, with real tips that are going to work, and real experiences to let you know you're not alone in this journey. I'm right there with you. My tribe is right there with you. Write your questions down and bring them, and I will answer them. Multiform Facebook account. So if you're going to add any of them and you haven't already, that's the one you want to be following for the live question and answer portion of the seminar. That way you can kind of process and go, you know what? That was awesome, but she didn't really address this. Bring it up to me. I will do the best I can to answer on the fly. And if I can't do it fully, I will dig and find that answer and I'll get back to you, because I'm here for you. I know how lost you can feel and how hopeless you can feel. And a lot of the mainstream tips out there are actually less than helpful because they're cookie cutter. They're for everybody. Here at Multiform, there is no uniform. We all have different needs, different traumas, and different ways that click and work for us to really heal and to recover and to have a fulfilling, yes, fulfilling life, even after your PTSD diagnosis. So without further ado, I'm so excited you're here. If you're ready to get started, so am I. Thank you for being here. This girl, you don't want to miss. Miss Trish Lee is here with us today. I'm so excited to talk to us about so many things. I found her on Instagram, and the more I got to know her and the more I got into her content, the more I knew she had to be a part of this. So I'm so grateful that she agreed to come and be a part of this seminar, because she's such an asset and has so much to say. She is beautiful inside and out. She is a mental health and career counselor and coach and author. She's already published one book and she's working on book number 2 and has plenty of others in mind to do some more. Kick butt woman entrepreneur, running businesses, both her own and helping her husband with their joint business, keeping it in the family. She is a mother, she is a wife, former Miss Universe Malaysia, among other pageants, but she is beautiful inside and out. She is joining us from Germany. You are going to love her. She's got so much to say. She is very passionate about helping women be empowered. She's all about helping and empowering women and being an advocate for those who have mental health disorders or PTSD or abuse of any kind as well. She's a true warrior. She is truly members of my tribe now, and I'm so lucky to call her now a friend. She was gracious enough to spend some time with me to talk about some things that are important to her and to both of us. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Trish Lee. Take it away.
Hi. Hello. Hi, Tracy.
How are you, Trish?
Good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
What's the time there exactly? Sorry.
6:30.
Nice. I like your enthusiasm.
When you're talking with someone who's clear across the big waters, you just gotta make it
work. Thank you.
No problem at all.
Yeah, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but for me, I find that my time really shrank a lot after I had a daughter. So it's a lot about trying to find the best ways to maximize my day. It was and waking up early is one of those things. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yep. I wanted to thank you so much, Tracy, for inviting me for this podcast. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I appreciate you coming on and being so willing and helpful. I kind of stalked you a little bit on your social media, kind of get a better idea of who you are.
Sure.
You're like a jack of all trades.
Yeah, I've always been very curious with trying different things.
That's awesome.
It is awesome, and sometimes I think I tell myself I'm a little bit too ambitious and I drive myself too stressed. You know, sometimes I kind of like have to tone it down a bit, especially like I said, after I became a mom. Time is truly a luxury which we don't have all the time. So I kind of have to prioritize myself a bit more. So, example, I used to have a jewelry business, and I gave that up because it was one part which I really had to sacrifice, because I was just spreading myself too thin. So
you had to choose, and it was on the chopping block.
Yeah. Just I had to, because what to do? We only have so much of time in the day, and I can't be a good mom when I am stressed out. You know, you can't pour from an empty cup. That's just how it is.
Yes. Yep. I agree. And that balance sometimes is not always easy.
So, I was just telling my parents on the weekend, you know, I find that sometimes if I'm with my daughter and I may be there physically, but if I'm stressed and my thoughts are not there, then I just feel I might as well not be there, because it's pointless. I'm there, but I'm not there. You know?
I do. Yeah. And kids know. Kids just
yes,
know
they do.
if you're really there or not.
And it's gonna sound so insane, but I told my mom, I even recall when I was like 10 or 12, and I used to come back from school and I was so excited. You know, you're a kid and you want to tell your mom everything that happened in your day. But I remember my mom was reading newspaper, and I was talking and talking like a jabberjaw, and she was just yeah, and as a kid it hurt me a lot, but I couldn't verbalize what I was feeling. So I guess we just learn from our experiences, and I just want to be, I can't be a perfect mom. I know I'll never be, but at least I can give my best to not repeat the same mistakes that I felt, you know, through my mom, and I just want to do better for my daughter.
And that's all we can do.
Correct. Yeah.
I am the youngest of 3, but my brother and sister are older, much older, like 12, 14 years older. So I kind of got to sit back and watch them with their kids before I had mine. So I had my experience. And then I was able to watch them with their kids. And I grabbed a lot of, ooh, I really like that. I want to do that. And then, ooh, nope, that's not for me.
Take notes.
In fact, my sister was like, what's going on? I was always asking, and she was like, what is your problem? Like, why do you have to have your nose in everything? And I'm like, honestly, I told her, I'm kind of taking notes. Like, I'm gonna be a mom eventually. Like,
yeah. You're good, huh? You're planning like way ahead.
Yep. I was kind of stalking you, you know, kind of looking up your social media in preparation for this call. And
I'm honored. Thank you.
I wanted to give you a chance to kind of, like I said, I feel like you're kind of a jack of all trades, and you have so many passions and interests and talents. I want to kind of give you an opportunity to introduce yourself and kind of what it is you do, and what brought you to where you are today. What inspired your passions?
Right now, my main career is as a mental health and career counselor. But on the side, I also have my fruit spread business, which I do with my husband. So he's the cook, he's the chef. He creates fruit jams, and I do all the sales and marketing, the branding, and we've been doing this for the past 5 years.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's his passion to cook, and I would like to support him in that, because I do believe that he's very talented in what he does. So I just said, hey, let's try this. And it's been working out, and we're really happy. I mean, it's just like a small passion on the side. And I told him, hey, why not? Like, if we have a business, just something to keep busy, and we just do it until we grow old and gray. And even when we retire, we have something small going on for us, you know? So it's nice. Yeah. So that's what I do. And also I have, like I shared with you just now, I used to have a jewelry business, and I stopped that after I gave birth. And now I've converted it into an Instagram magazine, whereby I try to help support small handmade businesses, to help them grow, to give them Instagram business tip advices, how to grow there, because I know lots of small businesses are kind of like struggling to grow. And I know the battle, because I've been there before myself. So that's what I do also on the side. So that's pretty much what I do.
That's a lot. Good for you.
Thank you. What about yourself? I would like to also actually hear from you. I'm curious.
Well, my main focus is on non-military PTSD.
Right.
And it basically has come from my experiences with PTSD, and I call it the school of hard knocks experiences with all sorts of different kinds of abuse and traumas. And in the beginning, I was very in victim mode. It was, all of this happened to me. Poor me. Why? Why did this happen to me?
Why? Yeah.
Like so many of these events in my life, most people have a traumatic event in their life or bad things happen. Why did I have to go through all of these? And finally, through my process of healing and recovering and researching, I realized that maybe I had to go through those so I could help others through it as well. And once that clicked, I was like, boom, like just something just clicked, and I was like, I'm doing it. It's a tough road. And I wish I would have had someone in my life that kind of understood, because if you don't have mental health issues or PTSD or brain trauma, whatever you want to call it, it's really hard to understand. And so I wanted to be able to help coach and help others on their path through. So I'm actually working on a book/workbook. I'm hoping to get out here. Yes, I'm so excited. So excited. Because I feel like I have a really good, very general plan on how to get through kind of some of the different stages of PTSD. But I also feel like not everyone is the same. And so our plans are going to be different because our traumas are different. And I focus on non-military. In my school of hard knocks, I didn't have that experience. We all have different traumas. We're all different in how we're going to have to work through it. So I generally kind of have this plan, and then I individually work with people to kind of help get that basic plan and customize it to them and what they need, where they're at to move forward, whatever stage they're in.
Right. That's beautiful. Truly beautiful, Tracy.
Thank you.
And God bless you for doing what you do, truly. Really, I'm serious. It takes, I think it takes a lot of inner strength, I would say, because it's not easy when you deal with your own trauma and then subsequently when you hear someone else's trauma to keep, how you say, a level mind and to see the bigger picture on how you want to help them. It takes a lot of inner strength. And I do truly understand. Coming back to your question just now about what I do, maybe I should also share with you what's the motivation that pushed me to become this.
Please.
Before I signed up for university, I was considering studying psychology. But back then, because I come from Malaysia, and it's just the mindset, the perspective of things. So my mom she said, why do you want to talk to crazy people all the time? I mean, she's just joking. But she was just saying, are you sure you want to do that all the time? And I was like, okay, good point. Let me think about it. And from that, I switched to going into hotel industry, which is not bad because I've always loved the hotel and tourism industry. And I'm really, really good with service. I'm a very people person.
I can tell.
So I thank you. And so I went into the hotel industry, subsequently became a front office assistant manager in a boutique hotel. It's not really a star-rated hotel, but it's more like a small kind of like chic hotel with different designs and concepts in their rooms. They call it a boutique hotel.
Cool.
Subsequently, I met my husband, which he was a guest in my hotel where I was working at in Singapore. So that's how we met. Long story short, started talking, blah, 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 and then I came here. But if I think back now, why did I actually even consider wanting to be a psychologist back then was because of my own experience with trauma. When I was 12, I was physically abused by my own brother. I would say he has very, very bad anger management issues. I nearly lost my life in his hands. So that was my first time. Unfortunately, there was also a second and a third time, which the third time was when I was about 15 years old or so. And at that point of time, my dad threatened him and said, if you lay another hand on your sister one more time, I'm going to report you to the police. You know, Tracy, I'm just really thankful that I survived. Because if I think back on what I went through, honestly, life is truly so fickle. I could have just died.
Right.
And no amount of threats from my father or my mother could have helped. In fact, I just had a talk with them over the weekend, and I had a bit of a breakdown because I was trying to understand a bit more. Over all these years, I kind of told myself, right, my parents just didn't report it because it was their son. I was kind of explaining it to myself, accepting the fact they could have done more, but they didn't. It was because it was their son. And I just told them, I would like for myself to...
whatever you want to call it. It's really hard to understand. And so I wanted to be able to help coach and help others.
Me half dead on the floor. My mom actually broke down and cried, and she said, I'm so sorry. I didn't do more. Perhaps I... And the thing is, Tracy, I've come to realize what it was. It's only a simple fact of they were not informed. They were not... They didn't realize that in Malaysia, yes, we are not USA, but we do have laws to protect the people who experience domestic violence. And I sent them links from the Malaysian government. What's the rules, what's the laws, what's the protection we can get, what's the kind of counseling we can get, how does trauma affect the brain. And I gave them a long breakdown to educate them. I'm not scolding them, and I'm not angry with them. I've never been begrudging them, because I'm so thankful for the financial support that they've given me throughout my life for my education and for trying to be there for me as much as they could.
Right.
But I said that I guess it's a learning for all of us, and it's a learning for me also, because I didn't know this was available in Malaysia. If I knew, I would have gotten help.
Right.
But back then, when you're so young, you don't know who the hell to tell. And even when you and I like one of the questions which you're going to ask me later, which is, what would you say to people with PTSD or people who have experienced trauma? And I think that the most shittiest thing of it all is we tend to tell ourselves it was my fault.
Yes.
When it's not my fault. I mean, okay, maybe I might have said something wrong or did something wrong, but it gives nobody any freaking right to be abusive or to threaten you or to put you through trauma. It is never your fault, and you don't deserve that. Everything can be discussed. You can verbalize it, but in a nice way. We're all human beings. You don't have to abuse someone.
Right.
And I had to learn that the hard way, as you say, School of Knocks, and I completely understand.
Right.
And I do believe something, Tracy, that sometimes, not sometimes, I think God just will not let us go through things which we cannot endure. You and I, we were made to help other people through their journey, because not everyone will see that enlightening moment. I've come to realize that you can go through all that shit, and at the end of the day, the determining factor is this. You've gone through all that, and you have only two choices. You can choose either to do better, become stronger, or you can just say, that's the end of the road. Fine, I give up. That's the end of my life. That's it.
Right.
There is no gray area. There is none. And so you and me, we chose the first part, which is the best part. And that's what makes you so strong right now and inspiring, and that's why I say, I really salute you for what you do, because the world needs people like you, and women especially. A lot of times in different countries, we are suppressed to keep silent that it's, you don't have any right to talk, you don't deserve help. And I believe that we need to show them, enlighten them, and educate them that, hey, no, times have changed. We don't deserve this shit, and we will get our protection. We need to be respected. Yeah, so what we do, it's important.
I beautifully said. Beautifully said. I feel like I can be like, all right, thanks for coming, and we'll talk to you later. I started off kind of in the victim, like, oh, this happened to me, but you kind of just check out and nope, and you just kind of stay stuck in the victim mode. I think we all, or at least most of us, kind of go through that stage of, this is horrible, why did this happen to me? And I think we also need to speak on that, because we all go through that part, and we all kind of feel bad that we get there, and we feel alone, and we're the only ones. But then
we think we're the only ones.
Right.
Yeah.
It's important to know that you start here, but you can step out of that. There is a way out. There is a future. You can have a fulfilling life even after your traumas. It's not easy, and it's not fair, but it's possible.
Yep.
My passion that I eventually would love to get out and fight is, abuse is not okay. You can't hurt somebody. You're not supposed to treat someone poorly, or abuse or trauma or whatever, until for some reason we put, oh, but they were your father. Oh, but they're your mother. And then all of a sudden, oh, nope, you have to take it. And it just boggles my mind, because I've been through physical, I've been through emotional, and the emotional has been the hardest part for me to move forward from, but it's the hardest to prove. And it's really hard then to get help. And to me, it's abuse is abuse. And like you said, with you and your brother, Trish, that he was just because he was your brother and you have shared DNA, abuse is abuse, and it's not okay. Toxic is toxic, and it's not okay. And I feel like we need to stand up and say, enough is enough. And no matter who it is in our life, if they're toxic, we either get them out of our lives completely,
or
at least minimize their access to our lives.
So true. Very true. Tracy, I can't agree. I totally agree with, just every country has different levels of suppression over women. Come to realize sometimes, as much as I want to help everyone, I can't help the whole world. But, my mom told me this, she told me, Trish, even if you leave this world and you just inspire and help one soul, this one soul can go out and help 2 or 3 more souls. And the ripple effect just happens. So she said, don't stress yourself too much. You just give your best, and you know that you are, when you do things with a good intention, God knows, you can leave this world with happiness in your heart, because you know that you've given it your best. That's how you want to be remembered, as how you make people feel. And that's why I do what I do, and I'm happy.
Good. I saw a quote that I absolutely love, and it's, people aren't going to always remember what you say or what you did, but they're going to remember how you made them feel.
Correct.
And
so true.
There's times where in this work you kind of go, is anyone listening? Like, am I making a difference here? And then you get that one message. And you're like, oh, and they just, you helped me out. They tell you where they were and how you helped them. And it's just like, oh, and that one message can like make your whole week. Like, you're just like, oh, I'm doing something. Somebody.
Thanks for the positivity, man.
Yes. And I also have had the experience of like something I said maybe years ago. And it, like, they remembered it. So it's like I planted that seed, and maybe they weren't ready to hear it then. But years down the road, when something happened, something clicks, and they're like, oh, we can even be planting seeds and not know it. I know for me, how many people have I felt helped me and influenced my life that I've never messaged? I mean, Tony Robbins. I don't know if you know, like, I love Tony.
I do.
Yeah, he's helped me a ton. I've never messaged him and been like, thank you so much.
Maybe we should.
I should probably do that. But I have a lot of those mentors that don't know they're my mentors. So I think we could be, especially with what we do, I think we're probably helping more people than we know.
You said it spot on, and I think many people, that's why they just keep quiet. They don't really say anything, because they are worried, okay, how will you perceive me if I say that, hey, you inspire me? Will you think I'm some creepy person trying to stalk you or something like that? So they also keep quiet. I do totally agree when those people actually do approach me and say like, hey, you know what, Trish, when you said this, it helped me. It made my day, and just simple things like that. It just really makes me so happy. It gives me so much of fulfillment in my life. Truly, it's life changing. You don't need to give me $1 million, but just your words is life changing.
Yes. Yes. So much more fulfilling.
Yeah, true.
You have not mentioned, but you are also an author.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You asked me to get my book ready, so here I am. Here.
Love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. This book, well, I used to also battle with emotional eating or eating disorder. I've been on both spectrums. One spectrum is being overweight, and the other spectrum is being totally underweight to the point of losing my menstrual cycle. And also I started to realize that I got very easily bruised because I just didn't have enough fats in my body. And I started to lose a lot of hair. So there was things which my body was trying to give me signals, but I kind of lied to myself that it was fine.
Right.
You know, woman issues. We want to be skinny, and we want to be pretty, and we want to be acceptable. What was the push factor for me for this was back in 2013, I joined Miss Universe Malaysia.
I'm glad you brought that up, so I was going to talk about that.
Thank you. I had a somewhat healthy weight, but I had absolutely no experience in the modeling industry or pageants. What the hell did I know about pageants? Nothing. And the concept that I had in my mind was, okay, it seems like a pretty prestigious pageant. So if I go, probably they're going to give me some training, teach me along the way. Nothing. It was like, boom. Okay, there you are. Here you go. And we're going to make it into what was they call it? Like a Keeping Up with the Kardashians, something like that. Like the next America's Next Top Model. Let's make it into a live show. And they wanted to suddenly make me like an actress. And I was like, I don't know shit about acting, and I hate acting because I want to be real. Why do I want to fake it on the TV? And it was very stressful for me because it's just not me. Can you get what I'm trying to say, Tracy?
I do.
It was like they were trying to ask me to be something that I was not. It caused a lot of internal conflict, and I wasn't happy there. And they also restricted what we were eating. I was like, God, is this gonna be my life forever if I win? Like, is this how you're gonna make me feel suffer, like I can't even eat properly?
Right.
And I'm a person who I love food, okay? Not to say I must stuff my face, but I love to just, enjoy my food, but not tell me, all right, I need to eat this amount of calories with this portion.
Right.
What? I was surprised, truly surprised, and thankful that I got into the finals. Getting to the finals, I didn't win. And I think back sometimes, perhaps it's a blessing because I don't think that was the life that was meant for me. Like I said, I felt like a conflict within me. I came to realize this, Tracy, when I was inside. I asked myself, does it mean that if I win, then I am the most beautiful girl in the world and there's no other beautiful girls in the world? What bullshit is that? So are you saying that I need to have a crown, then I'm beautiful? But if I don't have a crown, so all the other girls are not as beautiful? How crazy a thought is that? And that's not totally not true. And that's where I realized, Trish, you don't need to have a freaking crown to know that you're pretty. And I wish that so many other girls out there knew that you don't have to win a beauty pageant in order to be beautiful, in order to feel confidence.
Right.
Reality is there will be people who will support your journey, and then there'll be people who will be criticizing you. So for example, when I came out of the pageant, there were people criticizing me behind my back. Some people were saying, this girl became the finalist for Miss Universe Malaysia. You gotta be kidding me. Things like that, It was hurtful, and especially it was even more hurtful. If I didn't know these people, I could probably care less. But I knew some of these people, which was hurtful, so like backstabbing, and that's why it kind of it tipped me over the other side, which was being too skinny. Because I wanted to think like, right, maybe I lost because I was too fat. Maybe I lost because I wasn't pretty enough. Maybe I lost because, I wasn't good enough. But I'm glad I got myself out of it. it's a journey, you know, a lot of self-discovery, self-love, and I have to just build up my confidence because of my past trauma. My confidence was like this,
Right.
like
Yes.
literally squashed. And then and then when somebody told me that, hey, and even how would I have joined in the first place was because somebody said, a model scout saw me and said, hey, I think you have what it takes to be the next Miss Universe Malaysia, and why don't you just join and try? I was like, are you mad? What crazy is that? It took me 1 year to really register that. And so I said, hey, what's the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen was they were just going to say no. That's it. And so when I joined, that's why I said I was really surprised that I got to the finals. So of course, it helped my confidence go up a little bit. And then when I lost, losing was one thing, but coming out and getting criticized really made it worse.
Right.
That was really hard to deal with. But after the next year, I also joined a different pageant, which was Miss Asia Pacific World, which was for Singapore.
Okay.
Representing Singapore. And again, I got into the finals. But this time I decided to pull out because I didn't like the way that they were, how you say, managing this thing. They asked me to walk in a bikini. I don't know, Tracy, but I find it so conflicting. Why does society need to see a woman being sexy in a bikini to win a pageant? Is my intelligence not good enough for you? Is my smile not good enough for you? Do you need to see me butt naked in order to define that I'm pretty?
Right.
I don't know. Like,
right.
I found that this concept was so insane. And that's why when they said that, all right, Trish, you're in the finals and you just have to wear a bikini. And I'm like, I just can't do it. I just can't. I don't want to.
Right.
And they said that when you win, not the organization, I have to buy my own flight ticket to South Korea to compete worldwide. And I'm like, nah, thanks. No.
That speaks volumes with the person you are. Your strength for standing up, because I think you are a beautiful, and I'm not just saying this, you are a beautiful person inside and out. Beautiful.
Thank you.
And I think I think the outside doesn't matter near as much on the inside, because we can meet somebody or know someone and maybe from across the room think, oh, they're very attractive. But then as soon as you meet them and they open their mouth, you're like, nope, attraction out the window. Next.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
The other way around too. I've known people that, I wouldn't give a second look to passing down the street, but then you get to know them and you're just like, oh, they're the most adorable person. And I feel I'm not surprised at all that you made it as far as you did, because you've got both. And I love that. And I love your strength in who you are and your purpose. I'm sure,
thank you,
look gorgeous in a bikini, but that wasn't the point for you. It was that's not the message you wanted to send to other women. I did a couple pageants just in high school, so I have a bit of understanding, not near to that extent. It was just a state. It was a state thing.
Hey, but still.
Yeah. It did the same thing to my confidence, because I was invited by my photographer. I was a figure skater, and he always took my figure skating pictures and my cheerleading pictures. I mean, he just had grown up with me through all of my activities, and he entered me, and lo and behold, there I was. And so at first, like you said, it was like confidence builder, like, whoa. But I too, like you, I was like, what is this life? Out of respect for him, I was like, all right, I'll do this. And then, it just, it was always the women that I felt like were, like you said, behind your back, talking like, what on earth? Why was she even there? And I too had weight issues. I was a figure skater, so that didn't help either. And it really shot my self-confidence. And the traumas and mixed in the middle of that didn't help. So my confidence was just like, whoosh. you don't have to have a crown. You don't have to have a medal.
Yeah.
You don't have to have these physical things to prove your self-worth.
Yeah. Correct. True. So true.
But here in the United States,
Yeah.
just very, very critical and judgmental, and
I think it's a worldwide thing.
Okay, I think so too, but I don't want to.
It's a worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah.
I do believe that there are so many ways that one can give a positive impact in this world. And I do believe now, when I look back on my life, it's that because of my culture and my understanding of what was the opportunities out there for a woman, and we think that we need to look pretty, and then you maybe have value when men are like lusting over you. That's why I thought of, hey, maybe the pageant. But now when I'm more informed, I understand that there's so many other ways that I can impact people. So say, for example, through my books.
Yes.
Or even if I do speaking, or even through my counseling sessions. These are other ways that I can create an impact. And this, to me, resonates with me so much more than a pageant. What impact does it give to you yourself? And I think that's more important than any other thing. If you ask yourself and you role play backwards, and even if you won, question is, so what? Will you be happy? Will it really give you any meaning in the long term?
Right.
Is that really what you want? Because we always tend to think that the grass is greener on the other side.
Right.
That's not true. How many times have we seen celebrities killing themselves? How many times have we seen Hollywood marriages breaking up?
Right.
Look at freaking Britney Spears. She shaved off all her hair. She went crazy.
Yeah.
People think they want what they want, but actually, are they ready for it? It's a very different question. They think that they want it, but are they ready for it? Or do they deserve it? It's also very different questions.
Right.
So,
and why do you want it?
Yeah, exactly. Is it to feed your own self-worth, your own self-confidence, or is it to prove something to someone else? It's very different. The other day also, there was somebody asking me on Instagram, and it was a very tough question actually. She was saying, how do I realize my own self-worth and accept it?
Good question.
And I asked her back this question. I guess the question you have to ask yourself is, how do you see yourself?
Right.
Are you seeing yourself through someone else's eyes, or are you seeing yourself through yourself? How do you view yourself?
Right.
Because if you keep seeing yourself through other people's eyes, which you think that's what they're thinking about you, then you're going to be so small. And you'll never satisfy, because everyone's perspective is different.
Right.
The moment you can say, and I'm sorry for my vulgarity, the moment you can say, fuck it, I'm not going to care what people's perspective is of me. I'm just going to be the best me. So it's either you fucking take it or you leave.
Yeah.
But how many people can say that? And that's the challenge right there, because we are always trying to please. We're always trying to be accepted. We're always trying to be, complimented. And I think that it's so liberating when you can just say, hey, screw it. I'm just going to be myself.
Right. I think a lot of women do this. And you're like looking at everyone, and where do you rank?
Yeah.
Are you where are you on the pretty list, on the funny list, on the sexy list?
Yeah.
But the thing is like, we try to visualize ourselves from other people's point of view, but like you said, everyone has a different point of view.
Yeah.
It's about your perception of yourself. Then that's when you take some inventory and you make some changes.
Correct. True. Exactly.
I feel like in life, I think we need to learn to love ourselves as we are, but always continue to try and progress and to grow.
Yes.
I don't think we should ever stop. I don't think we should stop.
Don't be complacent. Don't be complacent. Yeah.
Yeah. Just, I'm good the way I am. Done.
Yep.
Game over.
Yeah. You have a beautiful mind, my dear.
Oh, goodness. Thank you. I am connecting with you very well.
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah, I agree. I love your mind too. I feel like you've come into my life for a reason. And
I do believe
I'm very
that God always we are all actually all in His plans. We are just fated to meet.
Let's go back to I want to go back to your book, especially now that I know you. I'm going to go out and grab one because I adore you. So I'm sure
Thank you.
book. And, I've dealt with weight issues, so I definitely want to grab it. So what is the name of your book? And just kind of give me a brief rendition of what the book is for and who is it for.
The book is called The Path to Emotional Eating Freedom. And why I said freedom is because this is the best, that is the best, everything is the best. But I've come to realize that, okay, and I'm not talking about the people who have a medical condition. Medical conditions aside, okay? Because that's not fair. People who have a medical condition, of course, they need medical help, so I'm not fit to advise on that.
Absolutely.
It's a lot to do with this word, just one word, but not many people like to hear this word: discipline, self-discipline. Example, one of the tips I give here inside this book is the top 21 tips, which I really find that I struggle a lot with, and a lot of my friends and clients also struggle with. So say, for example, one of this is the power of saying no. Let's say you go to work and your colleague comes and like, "Hey Tracy, good morning. I bought some donuts. Would you like a donut?"
Right.
And you feel obliged to say yes because your colleague is being friendly, your colleague is being nice. And so you say yes. Although in your mind you're like, shit, I want to say no. I already had breakfast and I'm so freaking full. But gosh, that donut looks so good. And I don't want to offend her. What if I offend her? Shit, I don't want to offend her. So I'm just going to take it. And so we create our own demise. And then the worst thing is later on, we hate ourselves for it.
Right.
Why do we do that to ourselves when you could have just prevented that whole thing? Not to say, hey, no, screw off. You're not going to say that.
Respectfully,
you could just
fine.
Exactly. Or you can say, hey, thank you so much. You're so sweet. How about another time? Today I'm really full, Or if you really feel so bad, then you can just say, all right, thanks. I'll take one for later. It does not mean that you must have it right now. Does not mean that you must swallow it in front of her just to prove, yeah, it's so yummy. I'm just going to gobble it right down right now. Why do that to yourself? And another point I also touch on is, please don't fall for fad diets. Because yes, there's 100 million diets, but for me, actually, I have a combination of things which I do in a day. And for me, what works is the 70-30 concept, which is I eat healthy 70% of the time, and 30% of the time I kind of like snack here and there because I'm not going to deprive myself. I just feel happy that way.
Right.
And I also do the semi-dieting. Semi-dieting means I tell myself strictly, I'm just going to eat dinner by 5 or 6 latest. That's it. And not a morsel more after that. And I'm just going to have breakfast the next morning.
Right.
And works great for me because I don't go to bed feeling so full, that feeling in your pit like,
yeah.
And I go to bed feeling just nice. I'm okay. And then I wake up feeling light and I'm fresh. What I'm trying to say in the book is you can try different diets and don't be disappointed if you don't find something that works for you. Just keep trying, test it out for a month or two. And sometimes maybe something works, something doesn't work. Example, the freaking keto diet. I tried that. Guess what happened? I gained freaking a lot of weight. And so it doesn't work. Okay, fine, next. I mean, it doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. So don't beat yourself up so much about it. Just keep trying, but don't fall for the concept that, it must be my body. It must be that I just can't lose weight. It's just me. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I tried this. Have you really tried it all? Have you really? So activities inside here, for example, to de-stress, because sometimes when we're stressed, that's also another point. We are not clear on or better in control of our emotions. And so we do really silly things, kind of like overeat to just suppress our stress, eat.
Comfort.
Which of course, which will of course later on backfire and we will again hate ourselves. And so this vicious cycle just happens again and again and again. And so I have like a complete list here of how to mindfully release stress So yeah, it's a way of helping people come to a more peaceful life with themselves, and a lot of inner work. A lot of the tips inside here is about kind of like rewiring your mind style, and it all starts with here.
Yep.
It's a book about understanding what is the meaning of life and about happiness.
I mean it. I'm definitely gonna have to go out and grab it now just to support you, and I'm sure I'll love it.
Thank you.
Do you have another book in the works?
Yes. The second book right now is actually, I'm working on it right now, is dedicated to my daughter. I've been planning this for 2 years plus already, from the time that she was born. I find that I've learned so much through her eyes. I thought I'm the teacher, you're the parent, right? But
Right.
I find she's my teacher.
Yeah.
She teaches me so much about what it means to give love and just laugh with your heart, and don't worry so much about whether you look pretty or whether your self-worth and stuff like that. Babies don't care about that. They just care about being happy, giving love, and especially forgiveness. I find it so beautiful how, yes, they can be angry with you in one moment, and when I say sorry to her, in the next second she's like, "Mommy, I love you."
Right. Yeah.
And I'm ashamed with myself, because I don't know if I can do that, forgive as fast as she can.
Right.
But that is also why babies are so happy.
Right.
Because they don't hold grudges. They live in the moment right now. They don't see that, oh yeah, this person hurt me, so I'm just gonna stay away from them, they're bad. No.
Right.
They take you as you are. If you say you're sorry, I forgive you. And
Right.
I give you love. I'm not going to say, hey, I remember what you did to me just now. I remember what you did to me yesterday. No. And I think that's just really beautiful. And there's so many other things which she's taught me to be more mindful and to appreciate my life and the little things, every little thing. And I've been, you're going to think I'm crazy, but for the past 2 years plus, I've been taking notes, tons of notes actually, tons and tons of notes. Every time I get I get inspired by her. I've been taking notes.
Yes.
And these are the notes which I will be putting into my book.
Well, I don't think that's crazy at all. I think that is very smart.
Thank you.
I do the same thing. I don't do it on my phone though, and maybe that's what I need to start doing. Because I have like a pad by my bed. So if I'm like going to sleep and like I got something just going, I'm just gonna write it down so I don't forget it, so I can actually
Yeah.
So I'll have a pad there. If I'm listening to someone inspirational that I'll write notes on that.
Yeah, that's good.
I will write notes on something that I hear on even a TV show. Like, oh, I really like that. Write it down. The problem is I've got like 50 notebooks that have like, what box did I put that in? Like, my mom just found.
Let me just show you something. 1 second. Let me just show you something. There you go. 1, 2, and 3, and I have quite a few more. So I totally get what you mean.
But you have them all in one place. Like, my mom just found one of them at her house and sent it over to mine last night. So I'm like, oh, I've been looking for that. Like, I have them scattered all over. So then when I think of something, I can write it down quick. But then I've got it a billion places. So I'd be interested in like what app to do that, because it's getting too.
That's why I do recommend, yes, using your phone notepad, or even if example, if you have Google Excel, whatever. Yeah, correct. Start saving documents there so you can access it wherever in the world that you are. When there's Wi-Fi, that helps a lot.
How far along is your book? Do you have a release date? Do you know when it's coming out? Or
I just started writing it because I felt it was time to start just a few days ago, and I aim to have it launched hopefully by August or September. Cool. Hopefully. Yeah.
Cool. So I have to ask,
sure,
what is that piece of paper?
Oh, I can show you. It's my year 2020 planner.
I knew it.
I have a planner for the next 2 years.
Speak on that.
Sure. I have a plan for the next 2 years. In all our lives, we have a variety of things that we want to kind of keep in check, but our brains can only take so much. And I do
Right.
believe that, especially as parents, sometimes our minds are so full that we forget things, or we kind of not prioritize things which we would, as much as we would like to.
Right.
So say,
Yep.
for example, just an example. So the categories that I have here on my planner are side projects. For example, last year, my side project was my family tree book. I wanted to create a family tree from my grandparents to my old ancestors, everybody from my husband's side, because I would like my daughter to know where she came from. I come from such a mixed heritage that I know I can't remember it all. So it's better to put it in the book.
Yes.
and my daughter can look back on it and understand her roots, because I've always asked my mom and my dad where my roots came from, but I've never penned it down. And now finally I have a book for her, which I'm so glad I did it, because I would like her to continue this as she gets married, have her own family. And yeah, because my heritage is so mixed. I have come from, my grandma from China, grandpa from Sri Lanka, and I have cousins in Australia. I also actually have a cousin in the US, in New York, and I have still a family in Malaysia. So it's all over the world. Now it's so crazy, when you think about it. So I would like her to know where she's from. And then I also have my books, which I have a few books lined up. So I'm kind of like putting into timelines when I want to write it and when I would like it to be done. And I also have a tab for YouTube, because I'm growing my YouTube channel, and I would like to know or have an aim by when I would like to have a certain number of growth, or what will I like to change, things like that. I also have it for my counseling business. So say, for example, I want to probably create, my next plan is to create programs.
Okay.
So like training programs, example, how to help people with trauma, how to overcome the feeling of loneliness, how to attract your ideal partner, programs like this. So that's also in my plan. And I also have plans for my jam business, my fruit jam business with my husband. I have plans also for Christmas, because I know that my family is staying far away, and I also have staff working for me overseas. And I would like to plan beforehand what's the gifts that I want to buy for them and by which month. I also have health checkups for myself, for my husband. That's what I mean, little things which you forget. And example, family trips. So like this year we've had one in February. I visited my family in Asia. And I also have a column for my daughter. It's just a very quick overview for me to see month by month. Am I missing out on something? Because like I said, it's so easy to overlook things when you're so busy. And I'm slowly trying to build up my business as a counselor. And I give myself an aim. Now I've been doing it for about a year. And I would like to still push it for another 2 more years and see how that slowly develops and what's the direction that I would like to go. Sometimes, as much as you want to plan like really far ahead, you also have to leave room for possible changes. You can't plan everything. Yeah. Like last year, I moved from a different state in Germany because my husband lost his job. His company was downsizing. And unfortunately, he got the cut. But on hindsight, it was a freaking blessing, truly. Because the town that we were living in, it was so secluded. And my baby was always so bored, and that drove me to depression for the first 6 or 8 months. I was so depressed. My husband came home 1 or 2 days, and he was like, in the evening, he would see me just sitting there in the kitchen, like, dazed. And he asked me, "Are you okay? Can I help you?" I said, just let me sit here for a while. I just need to breathe. In this new state that we're living in, it makes me so much more happier because it's more family oriented and we're more in a more central place. I'm more connected to people. I get to bring my baby out for more activities. So she's happy. I'm happy. As a family, we're more happy.
Right.
So all in all, it was a blessing.
And I love your ability to see that. I truly believe that somehow all of our trials,
Challenges.
challenges, that God uses that for a blessing somehow.
Yeah.
I truly believe that, and that's why I started doing what I do. And it has given me so much healing, and I get to meet amazing people like yourself, and I get to help. Yes, I get to help others, and it's rewarding to me, and it still helps almost validate me and mine. Like, okay, I'm not crazy. Other people out there have experienced the same thing, because maybe other people in our lives kind of make us feel like those things didn't happen to us, or our memory is bad or wrong. And sometimes it's just nice to hear someone else struggle. Not that I enjoy other people struggling.
No, I understand what you mean. Yep.
Yeah.
That you're not alone.
Yeah. I think your story is beautiful.
Thank you.
I
Thank you very much.
truly do. And you looked on your planner. I love that. And I love how when you explained it, you talked about like more short-term goals, more long-term goals, family things, your business things, your client, like you had it all planned out. But also, but I loved how you said you also have to be open to being flexible, because life happens and things don't always go according to plan. And I think that's a failure to plan is a plan to fail, right?
True.
But we also need to be flexible in how we get to maybe those goals, or flexible to maybe that goal might change how it looks a little bit.
Yeah.
So be flexible in the hows and the whens, but to still keep in mind, that you need to make a plan. There's someone very used to be really close in my life that was just spontaneous all the time. With their business, with their like there was never a plan, there was never a schedule, like ever. Was late to everything. And I was just like, whoa, like you have a business. You can't fly off the seat of your pants. You got to have somewhat of a plan. You have to have a schedule. Like you can't just like it just was more than But it also showed me how I need to be more focused, and I love you have inspired me. I got a planner and I just haven't used it yet.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you.
It's good to have a plan, and here's the secret. Always have a backup plan.
Yeah.
And what I mean by this is I have a client who told me she's divorced and she feels lonely. And I tell myself that, okay, I hope you don't misunderstand what I'm trying to say. I love my husband. Right. And I tell him this, honestly, I'm very honest with him. I tell him, I love you, but I cannot be 100% sure that you will love me and I will love you forever. I hope that you will be loyal to me, but God's will, if ever you do something stupid behind my back, you will find that you will come home and you will not see me at home. I am that bold that I told it to his face. And to me, it's very simple. Do not cross me. And I will not hesitate to walk out that door. So don't ever even test me, because I have been through enough of heartbreaks, countless ones, in fact, truly countless, to know that as a woman, you need to always be standing on your own 2 feet, regardless whether you're married or you're not married. And this is nothing to do with trust. Nothing. It is not a matter of trust or disrespect or whatever shit. It is only a matter of you always have an umbrella with you, okay? And should it ever rain, you know that, hey, let me just pack my bag and I'm just going to walk, and I'm just going to take out my spare umbrella because I have it prepared for a rainy day. Simple.
Right.
Because when you are emotionally prepared and mentally prepared, that hesitation will not come. You will not doubt yourself, because it really hurt me when I heard this woman was telling me that, maybe I should just go back to my husband. I was like, Please no. But it's not my place to say this. You see, I don't want to say that because I can't tell you what to do. It's your life. However, I don't like it when a woman feels like I have no choice. No, you have a choice.
Always.
It's only of whether you empower yourself to have that choice. And don't ever think that you have no choice, because that's just a negative, limiting belief that we give ourselves, and that creates our own demise, that I need someone. That's bullshit. Totally.
Right. I agree.
And this is really a lot of what we call learned behavior. We care too freaking much just to leave. And I even said that, and I'm not proud of this, but unfortunately I had to my, hey, I have my limits too, and I'm human. We're all human. Please respect me a little bit, regardless of my skin color, regardless of my ethnicity or my background, whatever. Just get to know me as a person, and don't come here and pick a fight for nothing. I have better things to do than entertain negativity. You know?
Yes. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Elegantly said.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. I totally agree, obviously, because we spoke earlier. Abuse is abuse.
Yeah.
Toxic is toxic. So I'm sure you have to deal with her from time to time, at least.
Yeah. Totally, really.
Well, good for you for setting that boundary. And I think that's going to be so important for your daughter to see also.
Yeah.
That's what I'm working on with my son, is learning, because my mom isn't love her to death, not great at boundaries. And so I didn't really learn until later in life the importance of boundaries and how to set them and enforce them. So now I'm trying to make sure and teach my son from a young age, so he doesn't have to be my age trying to figure out what the heck.
Yeah.
So I commend you. I commend you for that.
Thank you.
I do.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're a great mom for teaching your son that. Truly, so important.
Thank you. Like you said earlier, it's learning from our mistakes and our lives, and then we can change in how we can be different.
Yeah.
I took a lot of notes, little mental notes.
Good.
Can I ask you my favorite question that I love to ask people?
Sure.
20 years ago, if you could go back 20 years and talk to yourself, what would you tell yourself how to deal with the things that you've dealt with?
Learn to focus more on what makes you happy, and focus lesser on trying to please others, because that is just a pointless goal. It will never happen.
Right.
Ever. It never happens. Everyone will always demand more from you, or you want to give your best and be perfect, but perfection doesn't exist. It just doesn't.
Right.
And anyway, I've come to learn also, we think that people are talking about us behind, like want something from us or have that expectation. But actually more often than not, what we fail to realize is everyone's own lives, they have their own shit to deal with.
Right.
So actually, we are not the center of their world, but we think we are the center of their world, which is totally false.
Right.
And therefore, if you really think about it, who are you really pleasing? A ghost. Just a negative self-talk ghost, which doesn't even exist. So if we were to kind of like look at it in a different way, and we focus on what makes us happy and what makes us a better human being, when we are whole and we are happy and we are satisfied, and how you say, within us, our foundation is stable, and your roots are firm, people can't shake you. You're very sure of yourself. You know your values, you know your worth, okay? You know what's the impact that you can give this world. You don't have to let people tell you what your worth is or define it for you. And that's so important. I wish I knew that back then, but I guess we have to learn the hard way.
Always. when we know who we are and we're solid within ourselves, it doesn't matter what happens around. I had a podcast episode not too long ago, and it was kind of focused around this whole coronavirus, and like just things here in the US are kind of crazy right now with Corona, and we've got the riots going on, and things are just crazy. And if we focus our health and our minds and our mindset, and we're okay within ourselves, when the whole rest of the world is in chaos, we can still have a sense of peace. We can have that, like you said, that foundation. And then when it's on the inside, it doesn't matter what's going on the outside. You can still find that center. You can still find that peace.
Yes, so true. So true. Yep.
Beautiful. Perfect. You have your products that you can put quotes on. Loving that.
One moment. I'll be right back. I'll show you real quick. One sec.
Yep.
I'm back.
I will be, just so you know, and so everyone else knows, I'll put all the information that you gave me on how to find your book and your products and stuff. I'm going to have it so everyone can find it. But go ahead and let's
Right. So basically, all the quotes that I write by myself, it's originals from me. I try to make it nice so that it's printable. And so at my website, people can print it, let's say, on a cup. You can also print it on a tote bag. You can print it as a wallpaper. You can also print it as a bag handphone cover. Basically to inspire or motivate yourself at any point of time. I mean, on whichever merchandise that you prefer to print it on. So, and it ships worldwide. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I just wanted to make sure I bring that up because that's another thing I'm like, we're gonna have to do that.
Because I realized something, Tracy. I realized that on Instagram, I was creating so many quotes and people love it. And I was thinking, what can I do with it? Like, how nice would it be if it could be printed on? And I was like, yeah, why not? So I looked into it and I was, there is such a service that they do it. And I was like, okay, go ahead and I'll do it. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
How many different quotes do you have?
Oh, that's a very good question. I think I've lost count. I think 100 plus or minimum.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah. But like I've been writing for the past years, but not so frequently. And last year I started to post more frequently, and I've been, perfecting my branding and how I wanted the designs to be. So that's why if you were to scroll through my Instagram like years ago, the look and feel of the page is definitely much more different than what it is today. So I've been evolving. But yes, if you ask me how long I've been writing, it's been since 2014 or 15 or 16.
And you're spreading the love and you're spreading your wisdom and your beautiful soul. Beautiful soul.
Thank you.
Truly.
I have
truly enjoyed this talk. I really have.
Me too.
I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank you for being here and being all in and just open and willing to talk about some deep stuff that takes courage.
Thank you.
Takes courage.
I love your questions. You're a very good interview person.
Oh, thank you. I feel like our conversation just kind of went and flowed kind of in its own way.
Yeah,
it did. Love it.
It did. Yeah, I'm really glad.
I knew when I kind of dug and saw that you had your hands in so many things, I'm like, we're going to have so much to talk about. Like, I love it. So I would love to get a commitment from you. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
To maybe come on my podcast show a few times. Let's do this again.
Okay.
I would really love to work with you in the future.
Yeah, okay, great. Can. Sounds good. Sure.
Awesome.
Thank you. Awesome. I'll be honored.
Yes, thank you. I would love to have you.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see also how, what's the end result that you create with this PTSD awareness. I'm really excited to see. And I would definitely do my best to also put it on my blog and help you spread the word when possible. Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that so much.
No worries.
Because
Thank you for doing what you do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to
No
have
worries.
you, and we'll do it again.
Thank you. You take
Yay.
care and have a lovely rest of your day. Say hi to your son for me.
Say hi to your daughter for me.
Thank you. Okay. Take care, dear. Take care. All right.
Bye.
Bye.